Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to my dear lecturer Puan Nur Hatini binti Harun and all my beloved classmates. My name is Siti Nur Adlina binti Zaidi and my registration number is 03DKA19F1002. I am from DKA4A.
Hi, my name is Nurizatul Marwiti Muhammad Imran and my metric number is 03DKA19F1003.
Today we will be presenting about our topic for this case study, which is child abduction. For your information, I am a 4th semester student of Diploma in Civil Engineering at Polytechnic Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah.
So for your information, I am also 4th semester student in Diploma Civil Engineering at Polytechnic Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah.
For our case study, the content includes introduction of our topic, data analysis and conclusion. What is child abduction? Most of people understand that abduction is technically a kidnapping, but let's find out what kidnapping and abduction really are. Kidnapping is the taking or detaining of a person without their consent, with the intention of either holding the person to ransom or obtaining any other advantage. However, child abduction involves taking or detaining a child under 12 years old with the intention of removing or keeping the child from a person having parental responsibility for them. Any parent can perpetrate child abduction, but not kidnapping unless the act is in contravention of a court order. There are 3 objectives for our case study. The first one is to account the population of children in Malaysia. Next, the second objective is to explain motive and why children are the common victims of abduction. Lastly, these case studies are done to clarify serious recorded abduction incidents that has happened around the world.
Let's go through some of the background of abduction in Malaysia. In 2007, on 28th of September, federal agents raided a shop in Section 7, Shah Alam, where they arrested 4 men and 2 women between the ages of 27 and 35 in connection with the murder of Nurin Jazlin. However, they were released unconditionally 3 days later due to the lack of evidence, the nature of her brutal torture, and eventually death at the hand of an unknown assailant suspected to be psychopathic killer. Alright, in 2017, 3 men were found guilty and were sentenced to life imprisonment and whipping by the High Court of Kuala Terengganu for kidnapping a girl for a RM400,000 ransom in 2017. Alright, in 2021, Abdul Rahman was charged for the first charge with kidnapping his nephew Wanur Ainul Darwishah Amri at 866 Lorong 1/2 Taman Seraiwangi, Kulim at about 6 p.m. He was charged under Section 365 of Penal Code, which provided for imprisonment not exceeding 7 years and fine convicted. For the second charge, the accused was charged with intentionally causing injury to Wanur Ainul Darwishah using a knife at the same place, date and time. From the graph, as you can see, the graph decreasing trend keep on going from 2011 to 2020. In 2011, the population was 27.1%, it decreased to 26.7% in 2012 and dropped to 26.1% in 2013. Little by little, the population go down to 25.6% and fall to 25.1% in 2014 and 2015. In 2016, the graph was still falling and left 2016 on 24.7%. Almost steady, but it goes down to 24.3% in 2017 and plummet to 24%. The population had a fall the next year to 23.7% and dropped to 23.4% in 2020.
First of all, let me begin analyzing the graph at the highest count. It shows that most of the children were abducted for sexual desires. but abduction of girls were higher than boys for this motive. Next, for the next motive, which is robbery, the graph decreased because the number of children abducted for this motive was 17, and the graph was hugely decreased. The number of boys abducted for robbery are slightly higher than girls. For the next bar, the graph rise to 44 children. Children abducted for ransom was significantly higher than robbery. Girls were more likely being abducted for ransom than boys.
Alright, the graph shows the recorded incident of abduction from January 2004 to June 2004, in which only 57% was an actual abduction. As you can see from the pie chart, it was mentioned 4 incidents: actual abduction, attempted abduction, false report, and described incident happened to be not an abduction. Alright, from the pie chart, it is clear that the majority of incidents were an actual abduction. Nearly half of the incidents were attempted abduction, which is 32%. It is slightly less from an actual abduction percentage. Next, 16% of the incident happened to be false report. The investigation must have done and lead to that. Only a minor count, of which 10% described incident was not an abduction. In conclusion, since actual and attempted abduction were the majority incidents, it is clear that child abduction should be taken seriously by everyone with the children. At least percentage of incident was the one described as not an abduction, and it support the child abduction were really an issue.
All things considered, clearly child abduction were really happening, but there are ways to prevent it. After all, what really matters is how we deal with it. So, how do you prevent child abduction from happening to you and your children? First of all, of course, we should keep an eye on our children. Never leave kids alone in a car or stroller, even for a minute. This might surprise you of how bad it could be. Other than that, you need to control your kids. Even sometimes they demand to be free, but still, you need to supervise them in places like malls, movie theaters, parks, public bathroom, or even when they are fundraising from door to door. Furthermore, predators can simply lure your kids with questions like, "Can you help me find my lost puppy?" Or, "Do you want to see some cute kittens in my car?" Remind your kids that adults they don't know should never ask them to help or do things for them. Teach them to never accept candy or gifts from a stranger. Never go anywhere with a stranger, even if it sounds like fun. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening.